Hello, everyone. The biggest news item today is one of those where you just go, what? Kind of like David Tennant's Doctor Who in the Titanic Christmas special. Yeah, let me show you what I mean. It's the first half of this headline. That's right. So just let this sink in for a second. Russia came barging in where it was not invited and occupied a bunch of Ukrainian territory and is now expecting Ukrainian people from those territories to serve in the Russian army. What could possibly go wrong with that? We have already seen numerous examples of the fact that Ukrainian people have no problem whatsoever demonstrating to the Russian military and Russia-installed civilian officials that they're not wanted there. Can you imagine what they can do if they're forced into the Russian army? I mean, that doesn't even compute. And yet, here we are. Russia and Ukraine have exchanged drone attacks against the infrastructure. Ukraine had struck an electrical substation in border region of the city of Kursk. And the reason for that was that particular substation provided electricity to some of Russia's military facilities. So again, here it was a very carefully planned, very carefully targeted strike. On the other hand, Russia indiscriminately launched a missile attack against an infrastructure facility in Mykolaiv, which had nothing to do with military whatsoever. As the result, the city was left, the civilians were left without electricity, and this comes after another deadly attack against the city of Kherson, during which 3 women were killed. Another big news item is Russia's Putin meeting with a former Wagner commander, Andrei Troshev. And I am sort of surprised about that. Primarily on Troshev's behalf. Did you not see what happened to the previous guy? And yeah, it's possible that he was not directly involved in Prigozhin's failed coup against Putin, but he is still a member of the Wagner Group, which challenges Russian authority and the structure of the Russian army. So he's not just some guy. He is a potential threat when it comes to the balance of power in the Russian military. So Putin is desperately trying to sort of rule in Wagner. So far, it hasn't been working so great. As I mentioned before, Wagner haven't been basically their own bunch of people with higher salaries, their own decisions as to where to go and where to fight, are now being forced to get into the Russian army officially, and they don't really want to. They don't like this idea. So we'll see what happens. If I were anywhere near Wagner's leadership, I would pack up the whole company and move it somewhere to Africa and then sort out what they want to do. There's additional information about what was discussed between Ukraine's President Zelensky and NATO chief Stoltenberg. But basically, it all comes down to the same thing. Ukraine needs help. Ukraine cannot be fighting this war alone. And the longer this continues, the deeper are the global impacts of what is happening there. That's basically what it all comes down to. And so the big question is, how long is NATO willing to wait, putting at risk its own members, particularly its members in the Eastern Europe, before they say, okay, enough is enough? You know, we already seen concerns expressed by Poland. We've already seen concerns expressed by Romania. So when will they decide to address those concerns? To top it all off, we now discover that in Slovakia, there is a very real possibility that a Putin-supporting candidate might become their next leader. Right now, this person is running neck and neck with his opponent for the post of the prime minister. And again, I have to wonder, people of Slovakia, what are you thinking? What are you doing? So to remind everybody, Slovakia used to be part of the Republic of Czechoslovakia, which was definitely under the Soviet heel for many, many years. One of the first to be hit during World War II, you know, one of the points of contention between the Soviet Union and Germany. I mean, all they have to do is read their own history to find out what it would mean for them to continue playing footsie with Russia. That never resulted in anything good. So I frankly am shocked that they have a candidate who is so pro-Putin, who is so close to potentially becoming their new prime minister.